Hello, and welcome to another edition of Issues with JIDE. Here we'll talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, Peter will be challenged to end shameful Labour Party crisis as defections, suspensions hit party. In the course of the program, we take your questions, but first, subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. It's also important to mention that we can only read comments with human names and the ones based on subject matter. I have joining me via Zoom, the maestro himself, Babajide Olade Otutoju. Good to see you, BKO.
Good evening, Ibrahim. Good evening to our esteemed viewers.
Right. Now, the Labour Party is experiencing significant internal turmoil with factions led by Julius Abure and others suspending key figures like Governor Alex Oti and a host of others. So, given Peter Obi's stature as the party's 2023 presidential candidate, do you think he should take a more active role in mediating these disputes to unify the party, or how has he failed in uniting the warring parties? I mean, warring members of the party.
As I've said before on a different forum, Peter Obi failed to provide leadership. During when this problem was still, when this crisis was still at its embryonic stage, shortly after the 2023 election, Peter Obi could have moved in. He could have brought everyone together as the leader of the party, as the most prominent figure in the party, to try to find a solution. But he tried to put one leg on the right and another leg on the left. He tried to stay in the middle. At some point, despite the very shameful legal obstacles that Julius Abure faced, where he was accused of forgery, where he was accused of bribery, and the case was before the courts. The police even investigated the matter and indicted him as the national chairman of the party. I felt that Obi could have provided leadership at that time and spoken the minds of people who were aggrieved, who were unhappy with what the national chairman was accused of doing. He was accused of substituting duly nominated party members, substituted them with his own people, and even went as far as forging party documents just for their own persons to become the candidates of the party without having emerged from the uh, proper primaries of the party. At that point, the matter was still fresh and he could have intervened. He could have taken a big decision, but he preferred to play the role of a middleman, somebody standing in the middle, not wanting to offend A, not wanting to offend B. And sometimes in politics, you have to make your decision clear. You don't have to sit on the fence, especially where the matter has to do with integrity or lack of it of an individual in the party. So he didn't do that. He was busy going around and trying his best to draw attention to himself, believing that in the politics of 2027, he will still remain firmly in the spotlight and that will help him to gain so much traction and probably help him to win the election. So his inaction, his refusal to take a firm position for a very long time, divided the party, got some of them to even defect, because the defections actually began so early in the day. By the time he started complaining that the steps that he was taking to get Abure to have a convention of the party that will be accepted by everyone, that will carry everyone along. The horse had already left the stable. The problem had become so intractable. It had become clear to Abure that some elements within the party did not want him to continue as his chairman, and he decided to dig in. At that point, the NLC had taken a decision, even went as far as picketing the headquarters of the Labour Party, believing that the Labour Party belongs to it. But in the true sense of the word, the Labour Party does not belong to the NLC. Once you form a party, and the NLC didn't actually form the Labour Party. The Labour Party had been in existence before Labour moved in and before the name was changed. The point that I'm making was that by the time he now began to show his anger towards Abure, the matter had seriously degenerated. So he didn't show leadership from the beginning. And even now, his impact is not being felt. He is unable to fix the party. What is going on in the party is extremely disgraceful, but he's unable to hold the party together, because all along he did not control the structures of the party. So, and when he came in, despite the popularity, he couldn't take over the structures. So the problems persisted, and his obedience group that came into the party was not ab initio from the beginning interested in controlling the party. They merely saw the party as a vehicle to achieve their aim of having Peter Obi become the president of Nigeria. Now it will seem that Peter Obi is more concerned about building a coalition with Atiku Abubakar, going around with Atiku Abubakar, and going from country to country, badmouthing Nigeria and telling people that there's no democracy in Nigeria. You and I know that there can be no exaggeration greater than saying there's no democracy in Nigeria. If we experience military rule for 1 week, people will know the difference. Those who sit on social media to abuse other people, abuse Nigerian leaders, they know that under a military rule, that it will come for them. Some of them will be wasted. Some of them will be killed. It's as simple as that. So the last time I checked, my local government chairman was not a military man. My governor was not a military man. So for Peter Obi to say there's no democracy in Nigeria, it is the height of exaggeration. He should be more focused about uniting his party, finding a way to solve the problem. When the APC had all kinds of problems, the governors came together and they set up a caretaker committee headed by the Yobe State Governor, Mai Malabuni. So the leaders of the party should have been able to come together. But you need somebody who will galvanize everyone and get them to realize that, look, we are in the same boat. This is our party. We must not let this party die. But Peter Obi is more concerned about the coalition with Atiku Abubakar. And the coalition has all kinds of problems. If the coalition although Atiku Abubakar has not told anybody that he will contest the presidency in 2027, he has also not told anybody that he will not contest. But we all know that if the coalition were to settle for a Peter Obi, settle for an Atiku with Peter Obi as his deputy, contesting against a Southern president, it will be difficult for Peter Obi to rally the votes of Southerners. Because as far as Southerners are concerned, it is their turn to spend 8 years.
That's right.
Whether 8 uninterrupted years, whether in form of Ebola Tinubu or someone else. This is how many people are thinking, because Muhammadu Buhari, despite his problems, his health issues, and some of his problems relating to capacity, he spent 8 years in office. So it will be difficult to sell an Atiku Peter Obi combo, because Peter Obi got tremendous support in 2023, especially from the Southeast and Christians in the middle belts of our country, because they felt that, look, a Southeasterner deserves to be president of Nigeria at that time and even now. Since 1999, our friends in the Southeast have not been able to become either the vice president or the president of the country. And many people felt strongly that Peter Obi throwing his hat in the ring was an act of courage, and they supported him with their votes. If he were to be Atiku's running mate, it will be a different kettle of fish. Not many people from the Southeast will show the same zeal, the same determination, and desire to have Obi elected as president of our country. So what can help Peter Obi is for him to be on the ballot as the candidate, as the presidential candidate of the coalition. But anything less than that, if he steps down from the height that he has reached now as presidential candidate of the Labour Party that did very well in the election, to become the running mate to Atiku once again, then he will have taken giant steps backwards, or maybe a giant leap backwards, if that is possible. It's the Chinese who talked about taking a giant leap.
That's right.
So it is a complex, difficult at this stage to play the North-South politics, because in 2027 it will be difficult to try and pitch Nigerians against one another as per North and South. So Peter Obi must begin to ask himself this question: do I still want to contest on the platform of the Labour Party?
Yeah.
If I want to still contest on the platform of the Labour Party, what should I do? That means I have to try my best to unite the party, bring the party together. But a good number of the party members have left. A good number of them have left. When you go to the Southeast, in a state like Imo, state like Enugu, many of the Labour Party members have defected into the ruling party in those states. Many federal lawmakers, many House of Assembly members from the Labour Party, some members of the Labour Party, even in Lagos, have defected into the APC. So the party is fragmented. what we are seeing is a very shameful tit for tat suspension by the two major factions of the party. I hear there are actually three factions. And in all of this, Peter Obi is not talking. He's busy talking about what is not good about Nigeria, going abroad to say that saying those things does not amount to the marketing. That is what he's doing. Now, if he chooses not to contest on the platform of the Labour Party, which party will he use? Will he go back to the PDP and be somebody's running mate? A lot of the young people, the obedience who opted for Labour Party, they are very radical in nature. Many of them do not see the PDP as an option. So he risks losing his core base because the biggest chunk of his supporters are the obedience. He risks losing them by going to PDP to work with Atiku and be Atiku's running mate, because those are the options open. But if he wants to remain in the Labour Party, then he has to do his best to bring the warring parties together. And I think he has the clout, but he has failed to use that clout, that God-given clout that he has. He has failed to use it when it mattered the most. By the time he joined the Governor Otis of this world and abandoned the convention of the party that Abure called, it was already too late. And so many people have left. Now we are hearing that even the senator from Edo State, Labour Party senator, is on his way to the APC. Senator Neda Imasuen had warned that the Labour Party was too fragmented and that things should not continue like that. But nobody listened to him. He will have no choice now to leave, just the way others have left. The governorship candidate of Labour Party in Enugu State has already defected to the PDP. Here is a man who lost the election narrowly. In fact, there are many people who believe that he was the real winner of that election. For him to have left the Labour Party to join the PDP speaks volumes about how determined many Labour Party members are to jump ship at this stage. And the party has not done anything to stop the defections. The leaders, including Peter Obi, have not done anything to stop the defection. The only thing we saw was Labour Party setting up what he called the call of shame, meant to disgrace those who have defected after securing their mandates through the Labour Party. So Obi's choices are clear to him. They are clear now. His political choices are clear. And if he does, let me just drop this. And if he does not get his decision right, his political decision right, that may be the beginning of the end for him as political force. He has to. Let's go, Ibrahim.
Right. So if you look at the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and a host of others, they have criticized Obi, suggesting that he should resolve Labour Party's internal issues before aspiring for national leadership, which you've also alluded to. But you recall there is an erstwhile Labour Party presidential aspirant known as Fabio Joseph, who said that the party's leadership betrayed him, claiming that his 2023 presidential bid was sabotaged to pave the way for Peter Obi. Does this suggest the existence of deeper issues within the Labour Party regarding Obi's emergence as candidate? And how do you think this would affect his legitimacy in addressing the crisis?
You see, he's still a very strong figure. He's still well loved, especially within his obedience group. and it's difficult to write him off at this stage. I do not buy the idea that somebody should have been the candidate and that was betrayed and all that. Obi was a good choice and he did very well. So given his performance, I would not say the party made a big mistake by picking him. I think that he ran a good campaign and he did well. He did well. He got votes from every part of our country. Yes, you could argue that the only one states controlled by the states dominated by Christians, but it is what it is. People have their strengths. It doesn't have to win states with Muslim majority to have an impact in an election. Yes. So I think that he should have been much more involved in finding a solution to the crisis in the party. He should have used his clout at the beginning when it was becoming clear that things were getting bad. But he tried to sit on the fence, trying to watch how things were playing out, see whether Abure will survive and all that. So sitting on the fence was what Peter Obi did, but it has not turned out to be a good decision because before his eyes, the party is fragmented. People are not singing from the same hymnal anymore in that party. Party is divided allegedly into three different factions. And it's difficult to even say this is the chairman of the party. Although Abure still features on the website of INEC as the national chairman. But we all know that Abure no longer has the support of the generality of the members of the party. They do not want him. He's literally forcing himself on them. But Peter Obi did not show leadership. And I'm not surprised that Akpabio decided to take pot shots at him that he should first go and solve the internal crisis within his party. He called it a small party, you know, before coming to dabble into the affairs of the APC.
That's right. Now, let's take some comments before I go to my next question. Laot Dell says Peter Obi needs to show leadership rather than stating wrong analysis about our country. Nestor Nambi says Obi is afraid to lose the money from obedient members. Alara Moadumi says, good evening, Mr. BKO. Thanks for always saying the truth. Nelson at the first says Obi cannot get the kind of attention or attraction he had in 2023 election because his greediness not to support Atiku, because his unwillingness to support, that's my word, support Atiku, instead wanting to reap where he didn't sow. He has been ideal all the while. Oluwasegun Akingbemi says, let Obi stand alone or merge up with Atiku. Okay. Mitsu Songa says, BKO, being someone who takes risks going to dangerous places to report issues. What do you make of the statement that if Peter Obi couldn't manage his party, how would he tackle the issue of Boko Haram or the Boko Haram war? Omole James Adeyemi says, BKO, good evening, sir. Don't let us waste our time on Obi and his obedience. They are same as us now and their boss, always complaining, giving unnecessary excuses about their failures. Ashwadi Femi says, I did pardon you, Mr. Ibrahim and BKO, watching you live from Kitengela, Kenya. Kudos to you guys. Okay, thank you. Palade says, recent development has shown that Peter Obi has no strategic plan to preside over the affairs of Nigeria. He's simply ambitious without any clear capacity and patriotism. Time isn't on his side. Taiwo, I just said, this is what I'll just say again before I ask my question. Until Nigeria goes back party system without political parties are owned by its members, political parties will not be organized, systemic and stable. Well, I think only you understand that. But BK, if you look at Labour Party internal crisis. It has led to, public confusion and may impact its performance in future elections. Matter of fact, some members of the party, Abayomi, Arabambi, they have hinted at expelling Obi and others, accusing them of fueling the crisis. What strategic plan or what strategies do you think the Labour Party can implement to restore public confidence and ensure organizational stability ahead of upcoming electoral contests?
I think first and foremost, they will have to stop the hemorrhage. If they do not stop the hemorrhage, the party will keep going down. Party will keep losing its high-profile members. Those who are leaving have attributed it to the crisis that has engulfed the party since 2023. It's like the party recorded big successes and it was unable to manage the successes that it has recorded. Look at those states. The party won the election, won the presidential election, but what did we see? It came third in the governorship election. You know? So there is a need for them to come together, put the party first. But most politicians don't put the party first. They put themselves and their families first. It's their ambition that drives most of the decisions that they take. So they must stop the defections. They must find a way to come together, do some power sharing, and then get everyone to jump in and be singing from the same book. Once they're able to stop that, do that, it will send a clear message that the party is determined to come together and reclaim its past. Because its past, talking about 2023 general election, it's a glorious one. Yet it didn't win the election, but it provided real competition. And it became clear that election in Nigeria, presidential election, was not going to be a two-way horse race like we've had since 1999. So they should have built on that. But these divisions have not helped the party. But they can come together, put calls to one another instead of abusing one another the way Governor Oti is abusing Abure and others. They don't need that. These are infantile comments being made about each other. They don't need that. They need to come together. Once they come together, it sends the right message to their members that, oh, the party is about to stabilize once again. Once you send that clear message to the people by coming together, having a convention that's accepted to all the stakeholders, then the defections will stop. It won't be like we are experiencing now. Once we're able to stop the defections, we can then take steps to consolidate on the success that you have recorded by way of bringing everyone into the loop. But what we have now is it is very obvious that the party is divided and they are not prepared to forgive one another. They are abusing one another. And Obi is silent about what needs to be done. We can't even see the efforts he's making to bring the party together. It says a lot about his leadership capacity. We need to, because he's the inevitable leader of the party. So he should be the one taking those steps. How many of these people has he called to say, look, I want to see you come together, come join us in bringing bringing all the warring people together so that we begin to operate again as one party. We don't get such vibes from him. We don't get such vibes, and that is terrible. That is terrible. So they say you can't give what you don't have. Perhaps there is a leadership deficit there that the rest of us didn't know. But I believe that as a leader, he should have done his best to fix that party. If there's no party that I see today that is as fragmented, embarrassingly fragmented as the Labour Party. Look at the way they are disgracing themselves all over the place with their so-called tit-for-tat suspensions. And we've seen 3 persons claiming that they are chairman of the party. Lamidi Papa said the other day that it's the chairman of the party. So how many national chairmen will a single party have? This is embarrassing enough, and the key leaders of the party should be worried about this. If they are not worried about this, before their eyes, the party will collapse. This is just the natural thing. The way they are going, before the next election, the Labour Party will be a pale shadow of itself. Before the next election, if they do not fix the problem, the rot that is going on, if they do not stop the hemorrhage that is going on, Labour Party will be a cadaver of what it was in 2023. So they have to move fast.
Before we go, I just wanted to quickly address this issue because I'm reading some comments here suggesting that the crisis we are experiencing in the PDP, the Labour Party especially, has the signature or handwriting of the ruling party, that they do not want the Labour Party or the PDP or any opposition to thrive, so as to, pose very serious challenge, against them. How credible does this argument sound to you?
It's an infantile argument. People should stop this kind of arguments and face the reality. When I talked about defections from the party, the defections are not to the APC alone. Go to Enugu State, where the Labour Party lost the election by whiskers. Its lawmakers are defending from the House of Assembly. Its lawmakers are defecting into the PDP. So it's not the APC alone that is reaping from the crisis in the Labour Party. PDP is also benefiting. And in any case, the ruling party will do its best to get stronger. If people are saying that they are leaving the party because of the crisis, who are the people who instigated the crisis in the first place? The Labour Party crisis began from within. I do not agree that the APC caused the crisis in the Labour Party. I do not agree. I do not agree, because I remember how it all began, and steps were not taken to stop it. It's convenient to simply blame the ruling party when the opposition parties are not doing well. But it is in their best interest to come together, to become too strong for the ruling party. They still have a choice. How did it happen that in Kwara State, people defected from the ruling party in the state, and they still claim victory? The Otoge Revolution. They worked against the ruling party and the Saraki political dynasty, and they got victory in the end. APC that won the election was not the ruling party in that state. So rather than wasting their time saying, oh, some people want to do one party state, this and that, they should focus on building their party. Look at PDP. See how shameful it is that PDP cannot tell us that this is their secretary. A mere matter of a position. They've been going to court up and down. Anyanwu does not want to give up the position. The NWC of the party is divided over the position, over who should be secretary. So, if you can't speak to your members and get them to do what is right, it makes no sense to be blaming the ruling party. The ruling party wants to become stronger. It's just like in football, the big clubs buy talents from clubs that are not as rich as they are, because they know with those talents they will become stronger.
That's right.
So the ruling party will happily welcome people into its fold, but it's the opposition parties that need to stay united, stay organized, so that they can weather the political storm that is ahead of them.
Absolutely. Because,
All this, all this cheap blame game, nobody needs it. It leads to nowhere.
yeah.
Donald
Well,
Trump won. Donald Trump won 31 out of 50 states in America. I didn't hear anybody say that America is going to become one-party state. 31 out of 50 states, Donald Trump won, defeated the ruling party. So why are they not saying it's going to be one-party state in America? We just like repeating what other people are saying without even asking ourselves whether what they are saying shows wisdom. PDP used to control 28 states in our country. Today they have 11. Did Nigeria become a one-party state? I mean, these arguments are baseless, they are asinine. I hate hearing this kind of arguments.
mm, that's right. That's right, Mikhail. Let me quickly take this. Lanley Peter says, Uncle Jide, you are on point. And also, what played out in 2023 won't sell in 2027. Obi can't come with religion and ethnicity again. The northern politicians feel it's better to wait till 2031. Well, that's our time. That's our show for today's edition of Issues with Jide. Special thanks to you, Baba Jide Kolade Otutoju, for those insightful analyses as always.
Thank you, Ibrahim. I say a big thank you to our viewers for sticking with us all these years, every week. Thank you.
Right. Special thanks. Thanks to you too, our audience, for keeping our company on every edition. You can see the program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at TVC News NG, also at Ibrahim_Shita. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Ibrahim Shita. See you again next edition. Bye for now.